This brick building behind me at 1298 7th Avenue was paid for by one of the richest and most ruthless men in American history. Carved above the entrance are 4 words that outlived him: free to the people. Andrew Carnegie's philanthropy was incredible. And fortunately for him, that is what most of us remember on this week's Behind the Address. Marion's library story began in 1901 when local women led by Adeliza Daniels organized to create a public library. They started with donated books inside the Owen block and raised money through rummage sales and community events. Then Daniels wrote Andrew Carnegie a letter, and Carnegie offered $10,000 if Marion provided the land and promised at least $1,000 a year to operate it. Residents raised nearly $4,000 for the site, approved a tax levy, and Carnegie added another $1,500. The library opened in March of 1905. Children's Department opened in 1957. In addition, nearly doubled the size in 1961, then another renovation in 74. It served as the Marion Library until the Nancy Miller Library was opened, and it still stands today, part of the Marion Methodist Church, but they're more focused on the good book than all the books. Marion was one of 2,500 Carnegie libraries built worldwide, about 1,700 in the United States. Carnegie spent about $56 million on libraries and gave away more than $350 million overall. About 90% of his fortune, which would be around $7 billion in today's dollars. But let's not make him a saint quite yet. His steel workers for U.S. Steel endured 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week, in brutal and dangerous conditions. He said that 1 out of 11 death ratio in his mills was an acceptable business risk. He led to strikes. Henry Frick was famous for being a strike breaker. Carnegie, Rockefeller, Vanderbilt, they're not great men because they became great philanthropists. Their fortunes came through exploitation, monopoly, and crushed competition. But their money became libraries, universities, medical institutions, and helped ordinary people for generations. Maybe that could be a lesson that modern moguls like Bezos and Zuckerberg's could take a lesson from, because their philanthropy is more wrapped up in personal branding and making a name for themselves. What have they actually done that has touched people's lives? Not much. A Carnegie Library became public property. It was supported by public dollars, and we likely wouldn't have such a robust library system in the United States if it wasn't for the Scotsman. Maybe that's a lesson. A deeply flawed man can still leave behind something much, much larger than himself. Next week on Behind the Address, I'm Kyle Steele, licensed realtor in the great state of Iowa with Pinnacle Realty. Peace.